Mr. John Briggs was a man everyone in the village and city respected and feared. He had served as a soldier for over 25 years, rising through the ranks because of his bravery and discipline. He was the kind of man who would walk into a room and everyone went silent. Stories of his courage during the war were told over and over again. People said he once saved an entire platoon by leading them through enemy territory at night. Some even whispered that he had fought off 3 armed men with just his bare hands. But behind his tough, fearless face was a broken heart. Mr. John had 3 daughters, Rose, Clara, and Emily. Rose, the eldest, was 24 and Clara was 21. Emily, the youngest, had just turned 19. All 3 girls were as beautiful as their late mother, with bright eyes, glowing skin, and charming smile that could light up a room. Whenever they went, people turned to admire them. However, the family carried a great sadness. Emily's birth had come at a great cost. Their mother, Mrs. Grace Briggs, had died in childbirth. Mr. John never recovered from losing his wife. She has been his greatest friend and his source of joy. After her death, he was left alone to care for his 3 daughters. The day Grace died, Mr. John held baby Emily in his arms and cried like a child. He had not cried in years, not even during the toughest battles of war. But that day, he wept until he couldn't anymore. From that moment, he made a promise to himself: I will protect my girls no matter what it takes. Raising 3 girls without their mother wasn't easy for him. Mr. John became both a father and a mother to his daughters. He learned how to braid hair, cook simple meals, and even sew tall clothes. But as the years passed, his protective nature became stronger and sweeter. Mr. John's love for his daughter showed in many ways. When Rose was bullied in school for being too quiet, he marched to the school and made sure the teachers handled it. When Clara fell from a tree and broke her arm, he carried her on his back to the nearest hospital miles away. And when someone tried to trick Emily into giving him money, Mr. John found the man and made sure he never came near his family again. But while Mr. John's intentions were good, his methods were harsh. As his daughter grew older, he became more overprotective. He built a fence around the house and put up a big signboard at the gate that said, "Keep out, beware of dog." The funny thing was that they didn't even own a dog, but he kept people away, and that was all he wanted. He never let any boy come near his daughters. If he saw a young man talking to one of them, he would storm over, his deep voice booming, "What do you think you are doing? Stay away from my daughters." The villagers admired Mr. John, but they also feared him. Parents warned their son to stay far from the Briggs family. Even visitors were careful not to do anything that might upset him. But despite all his efforts, Mr. John could not see what his daughters truly needed. They loved their father, but his rules were suffocating. They wanted freedom, friendship, and a chance to make their own decision. And as much as they tried to talk to him, Mr. John would not listen. To him, the world was a battlefield, and he was still the soldier fighting to protect the people he loved the most. Rose, Clara, and Emily were the pride of the village. Their beauty was unmatched, and whenever they went, heads turned. Rose, the eldest, had long black hair and a calm, graceful way of walking that made people say she looked like a queen. Clara, the second, was full of energy and had sparkling brown eyes that made her the most cheerful of the 3. Emily, the youngest, was soft-spoken and shy, but her smile could make even the angriest person feel at peace. But their beauty came with its own challenges, especially when their father, Mr. John, was involved. When it was time for the girls to go to the university, Mr. John made a decision that no one could question. "We are not leaving this town, no," he said in a tone that left no room for argument. "You will go to the university here, so I can keep an eye on you." Rose wanted to study at a prestigious university in another city, but her father would not hear of it. "Do you think I will let you go far away where I can't protect you? Never," he said. So all 3 girls enrolled in the nearby university, which was only 20 minutes away from their home. Mr. John made sure he controlled everything. Every morning, the girls left the house together and he would watch them from the gate until they were out of sight. Sometimes, he even sent one of his trusted friends, Mr. Peter, to secretly follow them and make sure they went straight to school. The girls tried to enjoy the university life, but it was not easy with their father, always watching them. Boys were naturally drawn to them, and many wanted to ask them out, but no one in the city dared to come too close because of Mr. John's reputation. One day, a bold young man named Mike decided to talk to Rose. He had admired her from afar for months, and couldn't hold back any longer. So after class, he walked up to her with a smile and said, "Hi Rose, I just wanted to say you are the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Can we be friends?" Rose smiled politely and said, "Thank you, Mike, but I'm not allowed to have male friends." Before Mike could respond, Mr. John appeared out of nowhere. He had come to the university unannounced to check on his daughters. When he saw Mike standing next to Rose, he walked straight towards them. His face as hard as stone. "Who are you?" Mr. John barked. Mike stammered, I am just a classmate, sir." Mr. John did not wait for an explanation. He said, "Stay away from my daughter. If I see you near her again, you are going to regret it." Mike nodded quickly and ran off. Rose felt embarrassed but did not dare to say anything. Another time, Clara caught the attention of a final year student named Daniel, who was known for his charm and good looks. Daniel wrote her a love letter and slipped it into her bag during class. When Clara found the letter, she was flattened but too scared to reply. Somehow, Mr. John found out about the letter. The next day, he went to the university, found Daniel and warned him to stay away from his daughter. "If you value your education, don't even think about it," Mr. John said, his deep voice leaving no room for argument. Emily, the youngest, faced a similar problem. She had a quiet admirer named Sam who lived in the same neighborhood. Sam would smile at her whenever he saw her walking to school, but he never had the courage to approach her until one day, gathering all his bravery, he said, "Hi Emily, you look nice today." Before Emily could respond, her father stepped out from behind the gate. He had been watching from the house. "So you're the one hanging around my daughter," he said, looking at Sam. "Get out of here before I teach you a lesson." Sam did not wait for a second warning. He ran as fast as his leg could carry him. The girls were frustrated. "Daddy, why can't you trust us?" Rose asked one evening. "We are not little children anymore." But Mr. John refused to listen. "I know how boys think," he said firmly. "They're only after one thing, and I won't let anyone harm you." The girls loved their father, but his strictness made them feel like prisoners in their own home. They wanted to experience life, make friends and fall in love, but Mr. John's iron grip on their lives kept getting in the way. Little did he know his overprotective ways would soon lead to a confrontation that would change their family forever. Years passed, and Rose and Clara and Emily graduated from the university. They were now young women in their mid-20s, full of dreams and ready to take on the world. But their father, Mr. John, had not changed. He still watched their every move, always keeping an eye out for anyone who dare come too close to his daughters. The girls were not of marriageable age, and suitors began visiting the house. News of their beauty and good upbringing had spread far and wide. Young men, both from the village and the city, came with hopes of winning their hearts, but none of them could get past Mr. John. When the first suitor arrived, he came dressed in his finest suit and carrying a gift for the family. His name was Paul, a well-educated and kind-hearted man who worked as a banker. Paul introduced himself politely and expressed his desire to marry Rose. Mr. John looked him over with a suspicious eyes. "So you want to marry my daughter?" he asked, his voice cold. "Yes, sir," Paul replied, his voice steady but nervous. "What are your intentions?" Mr. John barked. Paul blinked, confused. "Sir, I want to love and take care of Rose for the rest of my life." Mr. John leaned back in his chair, staring at Paul as if he could see through him. After a long silence, he said, "You a banker, eh? How can I trust that you won't waste my daughter's money? Bankers are known to be greedy." Paul tried to explain that he was responsible and honest, but Mr. John would not hear of it. "You are not the right man for my daughter," he said firmly. And so, Paul left disappointed. Another suitor came for Clara. His name was Andrew, a school teacher with a gentle smile and a love for books. He bought a basket of fruits for the family and spoke kindly to everyone. Clara liked him, but Mr. John was quick to find fault. "So you're a teacher?" Mr. John asked, his voice dripping with doubt. "Yes, sir. I teach mathematics at the secondary school," Andrew replied. "A teacher's salary is too small," Mr. John said, shaking his head. "How will you even provide for my daughter? Or do you expect her to suffer in your house?" Andrew tried to convince him that love and hard work were more important than money, but Mr. John was unmoved. "Go and find a wife somewhere else," he said. The same thing happened with Emily's suitor, a young doctor named Peter. Peter was confident, smart, and came from a respectable family, but even he could not impress Mr. John. "Oh, you work at a hospital?" Mr. John asked. "Yes, sir," Peter said proudly. "Hospitals are full of sick people. You will bring disease into my daughter's life." Mr. John exclaimed, "I can't let her marry someone who works in such a risky job." Peter was stunned. He could not believe what he was hearing. He left quietly, knowing there was no point arguing. The daughters were frustrated. They could not understand why their father did not trust anyone. "Daddy, you are just pushing everyone away," Rose said one evening. "I am protecting you," Mr. John replied. "Not everyone who comes to this house has good intention. It's my job to make sure you don't make the wrong choices." "But Daddy," Kara said, "you don't even give them a chance to prove themselves." Mr. John shook his head. "A father knows what is best for his children. When the right man comes, I will let you know." But deep down, the girls wondered if their father will ever find anyone good enough for them. They loved him, but his trust issue were ruining their chances at happiness, and the daughters began to lose hope. As time went on, Mr. John's overprotectiveness became unbearable. Rose, Clara, and Emily felt like prisoners in their own home. Every time a suitor came, their father found an excuse to drive him away. The girls loved their father, but they also wanted to live their own lives. One evening, after yet another argument about marriage, Rose finally spoke up. "Daddy, we are not children anymore. You have to let us make our own decision." Mr. John frowned. "I'm doing this for your own good. The world is full of people who will hurt you." "No, Daddy," Kara said, her voice shaking with frustration. "You are not protecting us. You are just controlling us. How are we supposed to find happiness if you keep pushing everyone away?" Emily, usually the quiet one, surprised everyone by speaking up. "We love you, Daddy, but we can't live like this anymore. We need to find our own path." The three sisters looked at each other and made a decision that broke their hearts. The next morning, they packed their bags and left the house. They did not go far. They each found places to stay with friends or relatives in the city. But the house that had once been full of laughter and love now felt empty. At first, Mr. John was furious. "They are ungrateful," he muttered to himself. But as the days turned into weeks, the silence in the house became unbearable. He missed the sound of Rose's laughter, Clara's joke, and Emily's quiet presence. The loneliness began to weigh on him. One day, Mr. John's old friend Peter came to visit. Peter was the only person who could speak sense to him. They had served in the army together, and Peter knew how to talk to the stubborn man. "John, what is going on?" Peter asked, sitting down in the living room. "My daughter slept," Mr. John said, his voice heavy with sadness. "And why do you think that happened?" Peter asked gently. "They don't understand. I'm just trying to protect them," Mr. John replied. Peter shook his head. "John, I have known you for years, and I know you love these girls. But have you ever stopped to think that maybe you are going about it the wrong way?" He said. "What do you mean?" Mr. John asked, frowning. "Love is not about control," Peter said. "It's about trust. Your daughters are grown women now. They need to make their own decision. Even if they make mistake, that's how they will learn and grow. You have been trying to protect them so much that you have pushed them away." Mr. John sat in silence, Peter's words sinking in. "You are a brave man, John," Peter continued. "You have fought battles and protected your country. But the real battle is here, in your home. It's time to let go and trust your daughters. Let them find their own happiness." Peter's words hit Mr. John like a wave. For the first time, he realized he had been wrong. His love for his daughters had turned into fear, and that fear had driven them away. The next day, Mr. John called his daughters. His voice was shaking as he said, "Rose, Clara, Emily, I'm sorry." The girls were stunned. They have never heard their father apologize before. "I've been selfish," Mr. John admitted. "I was so scared of losing you that I did not see how much I was hurting you. Please come back. I promise to change." It took time, but the girls eventually returned. True to his words, Mr. John began to let go of his control. When suitors came, he welcomed them with an open mind and allowed his daughters to make their own choices. In the end, all three daughters found happiness. Rose married Paul, the banker, who had once been chased away. Clara fell in love with Andrew, the cheerful teacher, and Emily said yes to Peter, the young doctor. Mr. John gave his blessing to each of them, his heart full of pride and love. The house was no longer quiet. It was filled with laughter, the voices of his daughter, and eventually the giggles of his grandchildren. Mr. John learned that trusting his daughter did not mean losing them. It meant gaining a bigger, happier family. And in the evenings, as he sat on his couch watching the sunset, he felt a peace he had not known before. The sign on his gate was gone and replaced with a new one that read, "Welcome to the Briggs family. Love lives here." Thank you guys for watching this story to the end. I hope you grabbed a moral lesson from this story. Please like, subscribe and share my story to your friends and loved ones. And I still remain your favorite girls, Onyinye Chukwu. Thank you and bye bye.